Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Speaker Co-op TV. I'm thrilled to be here with John Carroll, who's one of our speakers at speakercoop.com, and we're going to ask John our 5 questions that we're asking all of our speakers to help them share with you what they talk about and what they're passionate about. Hi, John.
Hi, Jeff. Glad you made it back.
Thank you. Thank you. John's referring to today was my day to travel back from Houston to Dallas, since we have our monthly Houston meeting that I try to make as often as possible. Okay, John, let's just dive right in. Our first of our 5 questions is, tell us about the main topic you're sharing with the world right now.
Well, Jeff, the thing that's top of mind right now, I think, to most business owners is a topic that I've been sharing for about the last 4 years around this time of the year, and it's how to get more sales and profits now. And in the second half of the year, as you can appreciate, most people start to really get aggressive in looking at creative and expansive ways to grow not only their top line revenue results, but also their bottom line profits. In this presentation, what I show the audience is about 5 to 7 ideas that they can dramatically improve their overall business performance by applying what I call the 10% rule to discrete areas of their business.
Well, sales are always important, and as you say, we're heading into the hottest part of the summer here in Texas.
That's right, the home stretch.
There you go. There you go. Well, tell me, John, what's your favorite group to share this topic with?
Well, as you know, Jeff, I work primarily with entrepreneurs and small business owners, but the groups that I really enjoy spending time with, whether that's a large group or a small audience, are people that are really passionate about growing their business and are open to creative ideas and new approaches and ways to get at different aspects of the market. They can have even more dramatic results than they've enjoyed in the past.
That's great.
High energy folks that are very creative and open to new ideas and approaches.
I want to make sure that the people who are listening and watching us get caught that, because a lot of you out there are running your own groups. You've got a networking group because you weren't satisfied with something else, and you've started your own group. You're the exact kind of audience that John Carroll wants to speak to, because you're motivated to really improve your business, not just talk about improving your business. Right, John?
Absolutely. People that are serious about growing their business.
Good deal. Okay, so we're already up to question number 3, where we would like you to tell us one of your favorite quotes and why it's one of your favorite quotes.
Well, I have so many, it's hard to distill into one, but I'll pick Lewis Carroll's quote, not only because he's part of the Carroll plan, but it's also a quote I think is appropriate for most of us, and that is, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. And that's not only true in business, but it's absolutely true in life as well. As we all know, most adults in this country spend more time planning their vacations than they do planning their lives. No small surprise why they're discouraged, disillusioned, and frustrated with their lack of progress in achieving their goals and reaching success.
That's great. Now, is that right out of one of the Alice books, or is that something he said elsewhere?
Said elsewhere, not out of any of the Alice books, per se.
Let's repeat it for us one more time.
You don't know where you're going, any road will take you there.
Got it.
Yogi Berra had a similar quote as well.
How was his put?
It was very similar to that. It was, if you come to a fork in the road, take it.
Can always count on Yogi Berra for those malapropisms, as they call them.
Absolutely.
I love that word, too. Tell us, John, tell us something most people don't know about you.
Well, this one's a little embarrassing. I shared this with one of my networking groups recently, but when I was about 2.5 years old, I was labeled a child prophet, if you will, by the local media. In fact, they did a battery of tests on me, and they viewed me as a child prophet. Big article, news blitz, a little bit overwhelming for a 2.5-year-old, which just goes to show you that a lot of us peak at a very early age.
That's great. So if you had lived in another country, you might have been the Dalai Lama now instead of the guy who is.
Not so much. But there's a story behind the story, and that is, before that, I was ambidextrous, And that was because my two grandmothers took care of me during the day because both my parents worked. One was left-handed, the other was right-handed. So I learned how to do things both of them. I could, and I'm dating myself now, I could recite from memory all 48 states and their capitals. And that's because one of my grandmothers had knitted a quilt with the United States and the capitals and all the state names. And my mom used to, she tucked me in at night, used to ask me, now what is this state and what's the capital? So that's how I got that from memory. So it really wasn't, I wasn't a child prophet by any means.
That's
Rote
great.
memory exercises.
Got it. Got it. Well, and we've got some memory folks involved in the co-op that can relate to that because they've taught their kids things that way as well. And that's very fun. Very fun. Tell us what you're currently focused on educating people about, John.
Well, the thing I'm working on right now that I'm passionate about is the topic of globalization and why it's a strategic imperative, or should be, for all of us, not only as business owners, but tenants in a global society. As you know, I published my first book on the topic, Globalization, America's Leadership Challenge Ahead, about a year and a half ago. And since that time, I've spoken to a number of groups on the topic of globalization, various derivatives of that presentation, and I've written about 8 to 10 articles. In fact, I just recently, last month, published a 2-part article on globalization, and which showed people how to scale and grow their business globally by focusing on their greatest asset, and that's you. And how to not only scale to various segments of their business, but also, once you do that, how to take your business global, which adds a multiplier to everything you're doing.
Well, that's great, John. So tell us the website where people can find your book, and I know you've got some other books as well.
Right. This is the first book of 3. You can check out my services as well as my books at tracecoach.com. That's TRES coach.com.
That's great, and you can also, of course, you may be watching this through John's speaker co-op page at our website, where you can find the perfect speaker for your next event. If you're watching this on YouTube or on John's website, check out the other 2 places that this video lives for more information about John Carroll, more information about other speakers, because as much as he'd like it, you probably won't have John come speak at every meeting. And check us out on YouTube as well. We've got a channel full of great experts like John. John, as we wrap up, tell me a little bit about your plans for the next book. I really want to hear about that.
Next book is going to be built around a new series of online courses that I'm developing in partnership with Udemy.com right now. And it's going to be titled Back to Basics 3.0. And it's going to focus on not only the life cycle elements of a business, but also taking the readers from vision, mission, core values, all the way through to business planning and exit strategy. So it really takes them through fundamentally about 5 or 6 functional areas of a business that are absolutely vital to success. And I'm going to devote a chapter to each one of those, and actually devote an online course to each chapter.
That's great. John has topics for you, whether you're an established business person, as we talked about, and of course he's got topics for those newer entrepreneurs who are ready to dive in and do it right. Thanks so much for being on Speaker Co-op TV, John.
Well, Jeff, thank you for inviting me. I enjoyed it.
Again, you can find us on YouTube at the Speaker Co-op channel. Find us on speakercoop.com, and you'll see this video at John Carroll's website at tracecoach, TRES coach.com. Thanks very much, and we'll see you again.